Alright, we're going to find the lowest common denominator of the following fractions. So the lowest common denominator is the least common multiple. In this first one, we have our denominators 8 and 16. In this one, we can just use method A. So if we look at 16, 8 does divide 16. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So since 8 goes into 16, then the lowest common denominator must be equal to 16. For B, though, it's a little harder to just list out or start with the biggest one. So what we're going to do is use the prime factors of each one of these denominators. So for 20, the prime factors would be 4 times 5, or 2 times 2 times 5. For 25, that's just 5 times 5. And for 15, that's 3 times 5. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically look at all the factors of 20 for our lowest common denominator. Then it's got to contain every factor of 20. So that would be 2 times 2 times 5. Now, the next factor, 25, has 2 factors of 5, right? So my lowest common denominator has to contain 2 factors of 5. It's got one from the 20, but it needs another one from the 5. And then the last factors of 15 are 3 and 5. So factor of 3 is missing. So we need to have a factor of 3 also. So our lowest common denominator then would have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 3. So we can do this multiplication pretty easily. 2 times 5 is 10. If we just take a 2 and a 5, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And then 10 times 10 is 100 times 3, that last 3. So it looks like our lowest common denominator would be 300 in this case. The last one, again, we'll use the prime factors of each. So for 7, the prime factor is just 7. For 14a, so we got factors of, well, 14 is 2 times 7. And then I have that factor of a, one factor of a. And then for 2a squared, we have a factor of 2. And then we have 2 factors of a squared, right? So we need a 7. Okay, and that's the most that's occurring. We need 1, 2. Right, again, there's no more. And then for a factor of a, we need 2 of them. So our lowest common denominator is going to have a factor of 7, or a factor of 2, 7, and a, and a. So our lowest common denominator in this case would be equal to 14a squared. So that contains every factor of every denominator. So again, it's just listing out the prime factors and taking all of them. If there's repeats, if there's copies, just take the highest occurrence, right, in each one. So a occurs twice in 22a squared, so we're going to take that twice. So with variable factors, we can think of taking the variable to the highest power. So you notice a is here, a squared, so that's the highest power of a in all the denominators, so that's why it's in the lowest common denominator.